Welcome to another episode of Just Scrapping By, the YouTube channel where we find value in some of the most commonly thrown away electronics. In today's episode, we will be scrapping a video cassette recorder manufactured by Mitsubishi to see what valuable components can be found within. The model of the VCR is listed as HS-348UR. It took us about 45 minutes to disassemble and another hour to depopulate the circuit boards. So let's get into the project. The first step is to remove the two screws securing the VCR cover to the device chassis on each side of the device. We should also take this time to remove the single screw on the back of the VCR that secures all of the ports to the circuit board. When we flip the device over, we can see 9 screws located in various places. Some of these screws secure the device cover to the chassis, while the other screws secure some of the mechanical components found within. It is easier to disassemble the device if we remove all of these screws now. Now that we have the cover off of the VCR, we can see the power transformer, the mechanical tape drive, as well as a circuit board which is hiding more components underneath. We can remove the 5 screws on the circuit board to get a better look at what is underneath. With the green circuit board removed, we can now see another sparsely populated circuit board mounted to the bottom of the VCR. Let's start to depopulate the circuit board and tally up everything we could salvage. We removed almost 100 electrolytic capacitors from the circuit board in the VCR. Unfortunately, many of these capacitors are of low value and we only will be able to gather a small profit of a little over $20. We also removed slightly under 5 dozen ceramic capacitors. When you look at our profit table, these capacitors are not even worth salvaging. However, we like to show our viewers everything we removed, so we have included them here. Wow, 66 cents. What can we do with 66 cents? That is the question we are pondering if we sell these 6 polymer capacitors for their full value. Although they probably cost more to remove than what their actual value is, we can probably find a use for these in the future. We removed 3 iron core inductors and 1 air core inductor from the VCR. Any type of inductor has value and we are definitely putting these up for auction. Surprisingly, there were 8 RF coil transformers in the VCR. RF coils create and receive signals within a specific radio frequency range to produce detailed images. As the use of RF coil transformers is phased out in favor of digital circuits, coils found out in the wild will continue to increase in value. There were 9 integrated circuit chips that we were able to remove from the circuit boards. The BA7252S, as well as the C358C chips, are both amplifier chips. The M50742 is a CMOS microcomputer chip, and the L5005 is a delay line chip. There was also one LA7520 intermediate frequency amplifier. We also found 3 M51477SP motor driver chips and 1 chip we could not figure out. When we researched the MN67451 MKJ chip found in the VCR, the only information we found is it is some sort of system control device. If anyone knows what this chip is for, please share in the comments section. The amazing thing about these chips are their value. To purchase all of them would cost about $154, so we can definitely sell these at a profit. We also found 3 unique MOSFET devices in the VCR. All 3 of these components are used as motor drivers and are worth over $40. There were 3 MOSFET components in the device. The D1682 is a high-speed switching transistor, and the C3852 is a motor regulator. Although these components are only about $5 in value, they will definitely either be used on one of our projects or sold as salvaged components. There were a lot of small transistors in the Mitsubishi VCR. Most of the transistors were NPN type while some were PNP type. Transistors are always useful to keep around for any project that may come up, so removing them from the circuit boards was definitely worth it. We removed 18 trimmer pot resistors from the VCR worth a little over $7. We will be placing these with all of our other trimmer pots and selling them in one big bulk bundle. We need to learn how to resist removing these types of resistors from circuit boards. We give these resistors an arbitrary value of 1 cent each, although we know you can buy them even cheaper. When building new projects or repairing old devices, you can never have enough spare fuses. Even though we can sell these fuses and gain some profit, they will more than likely end up in our spare parts drawer. Another thing you cannot really have enough of is spare micro buttons. We removed a whole bunch of micro buttons from the VCR as well as a few switches. The reed switches we removed from the device are not shown in our scrapping video because we had an online buyer requesting the switches before we even had time to take the photographs for this project. This just shows there is always a buyer if you are selling what they need. It is hard to believe that the majority of this entire VCR was only operated with 2 motors. This is one of the DC motors that we recovered. Motors are either great to keep for future projects, and with a $7 price tag for this component, they are also lucrative to sell. There are lots of projects that you can build with segment displays. Considering this segment display is currently selling for $20 on various websites, we will forego project building and put this online for purchase. We salvaged 3 ports from the VCR with one of them not being shown as we used it for a project. These ports are very cheap to buy online but can always be repurposed for other projects. There were some interesting and unique components that we removed from the VCR. We removed 4 crystal resonators, 2 crystal oscillators, some potentiometers used as tuning knobs, 1 IR receiver, as well as some tantalum capacitors. There are a few components, which we have circled in red, that we were unable to identify. If anyone knows what these components do, please share your knowledge in the comments section. Whenever we salvage a VCR, we always keep the colored enameled wire that is found in the tape drum. This wire is great for arts and crafts, and costs a lot of money to buy at a craft store. We grabbed the wire out of the VCR and noticed that we also accidentally grabbed the mode selector switch, which can be found in many video playing and recording devices. These mode selector switches are hard to find and are worth a fair bit of money. This mode selector is definitely going up for auction to recover some of our costs. Springs are one of those things. It is always good to have an assortment of various types of springs for repair projects. This Mitsubishi VCR delivered by giving us a good assortment of various types of springs. We tallied up everything we found in the VCR, from capacitors to resistors, fuses, and other items. When we first got the value, we thought our calculations were wrong. It turns out that due to the fact that many of the components in the Mitsubishi VCR are older and harder to acquire, we are sitting on over $420 in salvageable components. It took us less than 1 hour to take the VCR apart, as well as only 1 hour to depopulate the circuit boards. If we take our total salvage value of $405.77, which is the value of the components and scrap, minus the cost we paid to acquire the device, we can see after deducting the cost of our labor that we could yield a maximum profit of $378.10 if we sell all of the components. We would have to sell a minimum of $42.67 in components in order to break even on this project. The question now is, overall, is scrapping this device worth it? The benefits of scrapping this device are that even if you paid up to $100 to acquire the VCR, you would still make a substantial profit. The device is also very easy to take apart, and the older components found within can fetch a high resale value. The drawbacks to scrapping this device are that the bulk of the components do not hold a high value, and some of the components were destroyed when depopulating when the leads on the components broke. For the Mitsubishi HS-348UR VCR, we give it a scrapping grade of an A. Thank you for watching our video, and remember to subscribe to our channel to see more great tutorials on how to turn the old into gold.